Hey, Loco sports fans, welcome to another edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown podcast. I'm Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr, and we are talking sports in the South Carolina Lowcountry and a little bit of everything today. Wes, we'll talk about a little bit of professional golf with CJ Cup Media Day out at Congaree last week. We were able to slip out there and get the scoop on the big tournament coming to the Lowcountry. We'll check in on a few of the Loco stars playing college football. Check in with the Hilton Head High tennis team, looking like state championship contenders again, as well as the swim team and one of their standouts committing to swim at the next level. And then we'll check in on that USCB soccer team that you've been calling the home games for, and have an interview with Big Daddy Matt Scarpa from Hilton Head Christian Academy before we name our teams of the week. But first things first, checking in, and we're on hurricane watch, Wes. We're speeding things up. We got a 2-day prep week for week 6 of high school football season because we're starting it on Wednesday night. Going to be a little hairy this week, but if we get through it and the rain gets here, we get to lay low for a few days. So how's your mental health over there, buddy? I'm a little manic myself.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot. It's been a hectic start to the week over here at Lowco HQ. And just like our teams and our coaches on the sidelines here in the Lowco, you got to take some adjustments and you got to find ways to get things done in a quicker manner here because we've got Hurricane Ian coming to the Lowco, which is pushing everything forward this week. High school football on Wednesday and Thursday. Virtually every game has been pushed up as we try to beat out the incoming storm and heavy rain that we might get later on this week. So we'll be churning out lots of content soon to get you ready for a big week 6 and the start of region play, which is always exciting. But things are going well. Weather was beautiful last week, and what a memorable night of football I got to witness over in Ladies Island. The Casey Fields game, as it will be known over there at Beaufort High, absolutely going off for 341 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. And man, Bryce Labyrinth has himself a heck of a playmaker on that Buford roster, and I'm already getting pumped for tomorrow's Bridge Bowl Wednesday night between Hilton Head and Bluffton, and that's going to be a fantastic edition, I think, of this rivalry. And speaking of which, 9 years ago today, one of the most memorable ever games in that rivalry, Hilton Head High knocking off Bluffton 33-32. They lost, I believe, 80-0 the year before, and they come around and take down Ken Cribb's Bobcats after Puna Ford absolutely took it over on both sides of the ball. And what a memorable performance by Puna, a Seahawk legend who just willed his team to that win. And he gave the halftime speech in the locker room to his team, and the rest was history. Just an instant classic. And I have a feeling that Wednesday night could be a fun one too.
See, I missed that one. That's in my blind spot. That's why I need you, Wes. You fill in my blind spots, man. You've got that institutional knowledge that I lack while I was working at USCB and wasn't really paying as close attention. But that's been, I've covered a bunch of those games. There have been some that weren't very exciting, but man, most of them have been really good. And I think we're going to have a good one on Wednesday night, and we'll remember it as the Hurricane Ian game, I guess, the one that we had to play on Wednesday. Yeah, Bridge Bowl, whatever, the one they played on Wednesday. That. And speaking of Loco history, I came across a Facebook memory today that on this date in 2010, and we're recording it on the 27th. We had a couple of legendary boxing champions in the Waterfront Park at Beaufort because I was over there to cover the event when Smoking Joe Frazier, Beaufort's own, was honored with the Order of the Palmetto, the highest civilian honor in South Carolina. And Larry Holmes was there to speak about him and be a part of the ceremony. So that was a cool day for me. I got to talk to two guys that I grew up in an age when heavyweight boxing was it, man. And when there was a fight, you watched it because you still could. You didn't have to pay $100 to watch it. And I grew up with Larry Holmes and Joe Frazier and those guys, tail end of their career and mostly watching old fights of them. But I was more of a Marvin Hagler guy myself. But man, those guys, it was really cool to talk with them and to be with in the presence of that greatness. So that was a neat Facebook memory for me. I don't love Facebook, but that was a cool thing. So wanted to share that with our friends, just some of that historical context of the Lowco sporting landscape here. But I got to see a great football game too over at Battery Creek. It was a really good game with Ware Branch. I said on the preview show I was going to stay as long as it was competitive, and I hoped I got to see the whole game, and I had to stay to the end. The Dolphins got a big win in their beautiful new stadium. I kind of joked about Beaufort County can't seem to finish these projects on time. It seems like everybody has to postpone a home game before it gets open. But to their credit, they waited and got it done right, and it looks terrific. And it's going to be really a great asset for those kids at Battery Creek. So I'm really happy for them that they got to bring it in with a win. Tough loss for Whale Branch and another injury for them with Mason Griffin looking like he may be gone for a while, if not the season. So, things kind of going sideways there with the one area they couldn't control, which was the depth at a 1A school. You just can't take too many injuries. But it was a great game, and I still have, a lot of hope for both those teams. I think Battery Creek has a great chance at home this week against North Charleston. Again, we'll talk about it with Matt Scarpa, but short week kind of benefits the team that has things rolling good. You have a good game, you don't mind that short week. Let's get back out there and play again. Things are kind of janky. You want to take as much time as you can to get it right. So I think that benefits Battery Creek, and I'm looking forward to some football right away here. But let's talk about some other stuff, Wes, and let's talk about the CJ Cup because we got to get back out to Congaree. And man, I mean, it's a special place. You drive up that driveway and you're like, "Whoo, this is something else back here." Golf course looks very green, which they're not very happy about. They want to get it brown and fast and firm and make it play like links golf. So they'll be working on that, and they're not going to be. They'll be none too pleased about these hurricane rains that are coming either. They want to get that thing dried out. But they're excited about the event. Rory McIlroy already making his commitment, which there are many more to come, but they're slow rolling it. Talking with the tournament director, he suggested, you look at the top 60 in the FedEx Cup, you look at last year's field in Las Vegas, you'll get a pretty good idea of what we're looking at, and it's going to be a stellar limited field where you're really going to get to get up close and personal and see some of the best in the world.
Yeah, it's going to be a big time event with some top names. I know it's a tournament in October and in the fall. Sometimes you don't get all those stars, but this is going to be a star-studded event here. And just a few weeks away now from the CJ Cup in South Carolina. And we got the great pleasure of visiting Congaree for Media Day. And this course is, it's looking absolutely beautiful. And we also, as you mentioned, heard some big-time commitment news because the four-time major winning and reigning FedEx Cup winner, and then the defending CJ Cup champ himself, Rory McIlroy, will headline this field. And I can't be more excited for what we're going to see at a course which is going to test some of the best names in the sport once again. And just so awesome to hear from some of the ambassadors and managers, including Bruce Davids, who I first got to meet a few months ago for a story on the Global Golf Initiative over there, Congaree Global Golf Initiative, that helps high school students on a path to success at the college level, and then they take applications for golfers who want to better their game, but also want to do some big things both in golf and in the classroom at the college level. And just great to see those kids get the opportunity to, because he mentioned a story about one kid who really had some big dreams about going to college, didn't know how to approach it, but got all the advice and all the teachings, and they made that dream happen. So just awesome to see that continue to happen at Congaree. And then, he's certainly humbled with the opportunity of hosting another PGA Tour event, the second in 2 years after the Palmetto Championship last June. And they said the course might look a little different to the maintenance schedule at a different time. They're trying to make it fast and more like that links golf approach, as you said. But we expect to see a very challenging course. The waste areas make it very difficult as well. They're sprinkled all throughout the course, and we don't know everyone involved yet, but I'm expecting a very strong field. And I think those who played here a year ago were impressed. And I'm sure some of them are excited to take this course on again. And we'll have some Korean players in the mix, as well as some leading golfers from the FedEx Cup points list this past year. So it should be an outstanding week of golf coming up very quickly, October 17th to the 23rd.
Yeah, coming up fast. Just like this football season is flying by. I mean, this is, and now we're moving up the halfway point 2 more days. I mean, gosh, this thing's going by way too fast. We'll be in the playoffs before we know it. But CJ Cup going to be great. I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to covering some golf in October. That sounds lovely. We've had, April and June, it gets pretty toasty, but October, that sounds brilliant. Go for a walk out in Congaree for 4 days in a row. Call it work. That's good stuff right there. But back to football, we did want to check in on some of the college guys. We missed this last week because we recorded early in the day on Monday before it came out. But Lee Kirkland was the NAIA Offensive Player of the Week. That's the national award, folks, last week. Former Bluffton quarterback. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago. Had some opportunities to go play tight end somewhere, but he wanted to be a quarterback. And he went to Pikeville, Kentucky, NAIA school to chase the dream. And we've mentioned the comparison a couple of times, but he kind of reminds you of Ben Roethlisberger coming out of Miami, Ohio. This big grown man who can sling it, and he's tough to bring down, and putting up monster numbers for Pikeville. He didn't have quite as big of numbers this week. They got humbled by Bethel, a highly ranked team, but he still had like 265 passing yards. But 579 passing yards 2 weeks ago, Wes. Just ridiculous stuff, putting up monster numbers. And I got to check where he is in the updated NAIA rankings, but he was like 180 yards ahead of the next guy in passing yards per game after week 2.
Man, that is unbelievable. Insane start to the season for Lee Kirkland. He's really earned this. I got to see him play at Bluffton, but he was really wanting to chase that opportunity to play quarterback at the next level, and he has taken the initiative over at UPIKA. Tough one this past week against a really good Bethel team. He threw for 256 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions, but a chance to bounce back against Bluefield on Saturday, and can't take away that National Player of the Week honor, and just one achievement, and 579 passing yards, eye-popping numbers, insane, and some fun stats with that. That 579 was more than an NAIA team had in 11 games last year combined, and then ironically enough, that team led the nation 4 games in this year. So go figure.
Yeah, Kirkland is still leading the nation in yards per game, 408.3 yards per game. He's got a nice 43-yard cushion, so he's doing pretty well. He had a 98-yard touchdown a couple of weeks ago, so that was pretty impressive. They sling it a lot, 127 passes in 3 games. They run like some air raid type stuff. They got guys going all over the place, and he's just making reads and playing schoolyard ball, and seems to be loving life. So props to Lee Kirkland. And one of his former favorite targets caught a touchdown pass this weekend too. Rakim White hauled in a 21-yard TD for South Carolina State's first score of the day. They ended up losing fairly big to North Carolina A&T, but I had seen Rakim fairly recently, and it was good to see him out there. And I know I saw Jayon Allen on the May River sideline a couple weeks ago too, and he said he made the travel roster as well. So I love seeing some Lowco guys at SC State. And then looking at the quarterback, he was the guy at Baptist Hill, and he threw a touchdown to one of his Baptist Hill teammates on Saturday. And they're a little outside our coverage area, but they're Lowco guys too to us. Like they're right here. They play the same region as Whale Branch, big rivalry. So it's really cool, and I love that about SC State. They do a pretty good job of going and getting some guys from the rural pockets of the state and keeping them home.
Yeah, it's working. They just won the Celebration Bowl last year, and that was a huge accomplishment for SC State, and off to another quality start here in 2022. I believe they may play South Carolina this week, so good opportunity for SC State. And another name that's been making some headlines here in the Lowco, standout for many years on Hilton Head High's defense, Cole Narzo. He has found a great home at Wyoming, and he's going to get his opportunities to find some time on the field. And he actually, I believe, he started his most recent game, but he's back to number 2 depth chart. But he's been able to help out as kind of a DB in pass cover, but also deliver that tackles as a linebacker. Versatile player out there on this defense. Went to Michigan State, wanted a better fit for him, and used the transfer portal to his advantage. And now he's on the way to being an impactful piece for this Wyoming Cowboys team. So just really excited, for him to keep seeing our guys play football into their college careers. So great news for Cole, and wish him best of luck over there in Wyoming.
Yeah, big scat country out there. I got to watch a little bit. He didn't start this week. He started the week before. And then was back to number 2 this week. I don't know if the guy was out or what, but I did get to watch a little of their game against BYU the other night. They've got a solid squad at Wyoming. I think Craig Bull's doing a good job there. So, and by all accounts, Cole seems to be happy, and that's the most important thing. You don't mess with happy. Happy is very important, and especially during one of the formative times in your life. You just don't want to be going through the motions in a bad situation. So, he had a dream of being a Michigan State Spartan. He got to achieve that goal. And then he figured out that his priorities had changed a little bit, and he went and found the place that was a better fit. So certainly wishing him well out there. Well, Wes, you were over at the tennis courts at Hilton Head High for what was, probably the match of the year here in the Lowco in terms of the magnitude of it, until possibly a rematch on the same courts, because Hilton had knocked off Lucy Beckham, which is the defending state champ. And, you got two of the real powerhouses in 4A tennis playing in the same region. So there's a pretty good chance that even though they'll be on opposite sides of the bracket, they may meet again in that lower state final and see who goes on to play for all of it.
Yeah, and since Hilton won that match, they'll be able to have it right here in Nest. So home court advantages, we know how huge that is. So if Hilton can hold on and finish off that region title, that match will be right here in the Lowco, which would be so awesome to cover live in person. So what a special win for Hilton Head. I mean, this is the team that had their number over the last few seasons, knocked out the playoffs, and I believe 20 and 21. But this could be a different year. I mean, the Seahawks, powered by their depth and hunger and tenacity, they get on 5-1 home court. And what a spectacular effort from this entire group. And Piper Charney from Lucy Beckham did beat Emily Rucknow in first singles, and Charney was sensational, absolutely outstanding, looked every bit as one of the country's most elite players. But the rest of the team came through with some big-time wins. Haley Poplin, spectacular 6-0-6-1 victory over Perrin Rogers. K.S. Kersey took down Leela Small 1-1, and Emily's sister, I believe, Alyssa Rucknow, defeated Fraser Jerry 6-3 and 6-1. And then so 3-1 Seahawks. We stole 2 matches on the court. Hilton Head just needed one more to clinch it, and it was a battle on fourth singles. What a gutsy win from Courtney Costo, outlasting Annie Wilborn. Back and forth second sets, went to a tie break, and Courtney stayed strong, prevail. I just love her heart and intensity out there on the court, and she was hyped after getting that victory, which sealed the match. And then the doubles team of Jessica Stager and Haley Cruz punctuating the night with their own tiebreak win. So Hilton Head with just a monster victory over Lucy Beckham, really impressive from top to bottom. And that, of course, gives them the inside track towards a region title. And then that all-important home court advantage. If they meet again in the postseason, it will be here in the Nest. So what a story that could be for the Seahawks later this fall. And I'm just so excited to keep covering this team. They've got some deep talent to line up with the hunger to compete. And I just love the effort and support this group gives each other. And could be a special season, a special story, especially for Emily Rucknow and this entire Hilton Head High girls tennis team.
Yeah, and Rucknow, I think she recently got her 100th win too, right? So that's
right.
That's a lot. That's a lot in a high school career, a whole bunch. So she's phenomenal. She's going to be on it to try to beat Piper next time. She's going to have a game plan.
That one too.
She's gotten her before, so we'll see what she can come up with as far as a game plan. And shout out to Emily. She learned how to change a flat tire this week too. Props to her for not asking her dad to change the tire for her, but to teach her how to change the tire.
Well done.
Very good, young woman. It will serve you well. All right, let's talk a little swimming, Wes. Keeping it with the Seahawks and keeping it with Lucy Beckham. I mean, we got a little rivalry going here in the quote-unquote country club sports that Hilton Head has dominated for years. Lucy Beckham is coming up, and they doubled up the Seahawks in the pool in the Region 7 4A meet or close to it, just racking up the points. But Hilton Head coming in second in both the boys and girls standings. And I think, as I recall, there's a limited number of swimmers you can enter in the lower state and state meets. So the scoring becomes a little different. So I remember Hilton Head narrowing the gap a bunch in the past and even maybe overtaking them in one of the standings at state, despite getting blown out in region because it's just a different scoring system. But regardless, Skylar Bruner, one of the stars of that Seahawk team, committing to swim at San Diego and continuing a tradition of this program, both Hilton Head High and H2 Aquatics, really sending so many swimmers to the next level. And personally, because your sister was one of them, but what a terrific job they do of getting kids prepared to go swim in college.
Yeah, just a fantastic program. It's been that way for several decades now, and it just keeps on rolling. Great news for Skylar Bruner. She has made her college commitment. Another Hilton High swimming star. She is headed to the West Coast to swim at San Diego. Fantastic accomplishment for Bruner, and just came off an excellent Region 7 championship meet. She won the 500-yard free and the 100-yard backstroke and the sister of Cohen Bruner, who is at the, I believe, still at the U.S. Naval Academy. So, heck of an athletic family, especially in the pool. And just what an opportunity to continue her career for a Division I school. I'll tell you, it is it is a big deal to play for a D1 team. Not many high school athletes get a chance to say that they played Division I athletics. So, big accomplishment, and then my playing continuing to churn out some exceptional talent to the college ranks with H2A, which goes year round, spring, summer, winter, fall, all seasons. They work so hard
Oh,
to lower their times and take their swimming to the next level. So just once again, so proud of what they're continuing to do there at H2A and Bluffton Thins as well. And if you can believe it, it's almost time for the state championship meet coming up in early October. Man, fall sports seem to go by so fast. Seems like you're here, and then all of a sudden we're crying champions. It's just crazy. But Skylar is she's actually one of 3 SEAC swimmers to win all region honors, along with 2 boys, Blaze Minkler and Jackson Vocal. So congratulations to all 3 of those young men, women, and good luck as you compete for a state title.
yeah, and those Bruner kids do come by it honestly. Their dad Carlton swam in the Atlanta Olympics, so they did get the genes. They did get the genes, but they still had to put in the work because the genes alone do not get it done. I promise you that. And shout out also to the swim parents. Man, that is dedication that I do not have to getting up at an ungodly hour all months of the year and taking your children to practice. Like I can handle baseball practice, but we don't do that before the sun comes up. So that's a lot. But let's talk a little soccer, Wes. You've been covering and calling those games for the USCB Sand Sharks, and they are now 8-1. Just keep on rolling. They had that one slip up, but back on track now, and they've got Columbus State on Wednesday before the storm hits. So you're going to have a really busy Wednesday. A lot of stuff going on, but get us caught up on the Sand Sharks. It sounds like they got back on track.
Yeah, big time game coming up on Wednesday for USCB women's soccer. So a lot of local sports going on tomorrow here with USCB, big time matchup on the soccer pitch, and then we go from the football field to the football field for a high school night of action. So excited for Wednesday, but USCB taking on the Columbus State team that is unbeaten in college or in conference play, and the Sand Sharks, they're gonna be pumped up for this one at home. I mean, it has been quite the start for Jay Harris's squad this year. They're sitting at incredible 8-1, then they're 2-1 in the Peach Belt in their very first year, might I add, Division II level. I mean, that's hard to do, and all 8 of those wins have been via the shutout variety. That back line has been absolutely superb, and it was again on Saturday in a 5-0 road win at Albany State. 6th clean sheet of the year for Emily Worrell, already a 3-time winner of Player of the Week honors at the Peach Belt Conference. And how about the play of freshman Savannah Page, scoring 2 more goals? Her hustle and her finishing on the field has just been something else so far. What an impactful player who has already been a sensation from that very first game, scored in her first college game, and now she's added 2 more. So excellent start.
Yeah, good stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, and then I'm more than. And then Kristen Beltestad and then Mari Kalvatin each with a goal, and then Eddie Ass, who has been a tremendous player off the bench scoring. So this team is deep, and they have so many players who can fit in well to the system. And Jay Harris has just done such a great job really building this team with the players that he has. And this group is just fun to watch. Some great chemistry together that's really improved, especially with those 2 playmakers in Sinead By Anderson and then Mari Calvatin, and he got those impact players like that freshman in Savannah Page, who has right away been one of the biggest difference makers in the team. So, I mean, it starts with strong defense, building up from the back, and then not being afraid to take the chance when it's there. I love the confidence of putting the balls on net. So, excellent start here for USCB. I love confidence from this group, and they've just been so fun to watch, and I cannot wait for Wednesday afternoon. State opportunity against the Cougars. That defense continues to play lights out. The Sand Shark team will get some chances, and we could be in store for something really special on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, I think they've done a really efficient job of recruiting, it seems. It seems like everybody they brought in was somebody that could plug in and make them better right away. And that's what you got to do. When you don't have a lot of scholarships to go around, you got to make sure you use them wisely and you make your team better, and don't just go grab the shiny thing if it doesn't work for what you do. So Do a great job there, and really pleased with how well they've competed in the Peach Belt right out of the gate. That bodes well for them. I think they're going to continue to do big things, and hopefully that carries over into other sports. But let's take a quick break, Wes, and hear from our sponsors who make this all possible, and then we'll come back to talk with Big Daddy Matthew Scarpa from Hilton Head Christian Academy right here on the Loco Sports Lowdown.
This podcast is made possible by our sustaining sponsors. Our original sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of LowcoSports.com. Go see Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickle Squad for all your legal needs and support the local businesses that support Lowco. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling the best pies in Bluffton and on Hilton Head, but don't sleep on the mac and cheese. Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. Sometimes you just don't want to clean. Call on Carla and her amazing team to do the dirty work at a great price and tell them Lowco sent you. 843 Sport, the official training center of Lowco Sports. No matter your game, 843 Sport is the place to take it to the next level. They're bringing all the area's top trainers and some of the best elite travel teams from various sports under one roof at 843 Sport. DDS Web Design, the official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If you have a business and you want to get found, look no further than DDS. They can build an attractive and effective website loaded with all the cutting-edge SEO tools you need to show up where people are looking, on Google. Dave and Denise will get it done. Additional support provided by Cannon Specialty Services, Bluffton Pest Control, Next Move, The Fit Club in Belfair Town Village, and our Patreon members. Join today for $1 or more per month at patreon.com/LowcoSports to get early or exclusive access to our local sports content and exclusive Lowco swag. And thank you to our past recurring sponsors, including Horizon Rehabilitation and Physical Therapy, Coastal Plains Insurance of the Lowcountry, 4M Metals, Hilton Head Insurance and Brokerage, Brody's Bar and Grill, and AGC Gutter Company. Thank you for supporting our mission to create quality local sports content that celebrates our teams and athletes. Go Lowco!
We are joined by the guy that Wes has taken to calling Big Daddy, Matt Scarpa from Hilton Head Christian Academy. We've gotten to cover you here for the last couple of years since you moved down this way, Matt, and always enjoy getting to chat with you and seeing your social media videos and all that stuff. But I got to open with the obvious question here, man. How much you bench?
I'm at sitting at a one rep max 395. And I hit a 225 for 30 a couple of weeks back.
Jeez, that's impressive. You've obviously put your heart and soul into strength training and getting as big and strong as you can. How'd you get into that, and what's kind of the end goal of that? We were talking a little before that you want to try to play college football. Is that really the motivator for you to get as big as you can?
I actually started back in Connecticut when quarantine first hit. Me and my dad built a pretty sweet home gym in our basement, and it started with just like a squat rack and a bench, and then it turned into just this huge, really well done out workout room that we had a whole bunch of my buddies over every night, and we just all lifted together for hours on end, just hanging out, and that was kind of our escape from everything. And I kind of just fell in love with it from there, and it's been like that ever since.
Matt, tell me about your football journey so far and what captivated you about joining Hilton Head Christian Academy and becoming an Eagle.
So my sophomore year up in Connecticut, we were the only state in the whole country that didn't have a tackle football season. So from that point on, it was a giant motivator just to start looking for other options. We were uncertain that I was going to have a junior season, and then we started just looking around for schools, and we found Hilton Head Christian and came down, toured it, and just fell in love with it. And then we made the move right from there.
You mentioned your junior season and not knowing if there would be a season. That's obviously the big year if you want to try to get recruited and play at the next level. And you've indicated that's something you're trying to do. So you couldn't sit around and let another year pass by, obviously. But do you feel like you've gotten some looks where you are at HHCA? I know you're still waiting on the one, but are you starting to get some interest?
Yes, sir.
Who are you looking at here? What kind of schools are you looking at? Who are you trying to catch the attention of?
I had a game day visit this Saturday up at Presbyterian, and then a few smaller schools, but I'm still looking. I'm on the fence if I want to stay local or if I want to go out and explore, but there's options. I just am looking for the right one.
That's awesome. Tell me about your game and how you've grown to become a force on Hilton Head. Tell me about your game and how you've grown to become a force on that Hilton Head Christian Academy defense.
It's just really under Coach Baduzzi and especially defensive coordinator Matt Smith, it's been a really awesome journey because I hadn't really ever learned the position prior to that year. I didn't have the season my sophomore year, and I started on offense my freshman year, but I never started on defense. So they really both took me under their wing, and they truly allowed for me to build a really solid defensive personality. I love making tackles. I love hitting people. So I fell in love with that aspect of the game more than I ever have prior to that season.
I know you also played baseball in the spring, and you fill out that baseball jersey pretty good. But is that something? Have you played other sports growing up, or is that something that you just wanted to do something else, or where's baseball fit in for you?
I've played baseball my whole life, from all the way from farm ball to high school. I've played it. My dad was my coach in youth ball, and then I didn't have a season my freshman year because of COVID, but it was really awesome, especially under a new head coach this year and all the aspects that they're putting into our baseball program. Everything's brand new, and it's just been a really fun experience.
Yeah, my old guy J.W. Wilkerson, covered him back at Bluffton back in the day. So I love what they're doing over there with the baseball program. The facility is phenomenal, and they've got a bunch of young talent coming up through the younger age groups too. So they're going to be really good over there. Wes, did you have one?
Yeah, Matt, I didn't know if you wanted.
I just had a little. I
didn't know if Matthew wanted to respond.
Oh yeah, if he wants to.
All right, move on. Matthew, tell me about the relationship that you had with those upperclassmen, especially last year, Jackson Bulldog Lanier. How did he inspire you to become the best player that you can be out there in the field?
Jackson's awesome. I definitely miss him a lot. He's doing good over at Moorhead. I built a really good relationship with him. I did work with him for his company a lot over the summer, and I really just built an awesome relationship with him. And he's just a giant motivator, whether it's flying around the field and making tackles or just motivating the team in general. He's a force to be reckoned with, and he was just an awesome part of my first year experience at HHCA, and he definitely motivated me for this season as well.
Tell me a little bit about playing for Ron Peduzzi. He's been around here for a long time, coached some different teams, and always had success, and has really seemed to kind of he's the gruff Marine, but he seemed to kind of soften and mature a little bit later on in these past few years. But just tell me about, even though you've only gotten to spend a couple of years playing for him, what he's done for you, what he's meant to you, and what it's been like to play for a guy like that.
Well, he definitely loves his players. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely been a bond right off the bat, and it's just been an awesome experience. He's a great coach. He's probably one of the funniest dudes that I met in my life, but he truly does care about his players, and that means a lot coming from a player's perspective, and it just sets a bond for the team that really we could all come together and get it on and just have each other's backs and play under a coach that we all have respect for.
Fantastic leader who has done just so much for so many here in the Lowco, Hilton Head Prep, and now Hilton Head Christian Academy. You guys are on a roll after dropping those first two games. You've won now 3 straight, and you just knocked off a really good Beaufort Academy team. How's it feeling right now after defeating BA? And you guys got to be feeling good as you head into the latter half of the regular season.
We have a lot of momentum going for sure right now. The first 2 games of the season were rough, Savannah Christian was a real wake-up call. And I'm going to say this on the podcast here. Wilson Hall, I hope we get them in playoffs, because I truly believe if we play them again, that it's going to be a W in the win column for us. I don't think that's a game that we should have fell on, but with the chemistry that our team has now, I truly believe if we play it again, we're not going to lose that game. And then being able to knock off Ben Lippen, who was undefeated at the time, and then Northwood, and then another undefeated BA, is just really allowed us to start moving in the right direction. I'm really proud of the way this team is coming together.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad you said that about Wilson Hall, because I feel the same way. Like I feel like if you saw them again at the end of the season, it would be a completely different game. We've seen the growth just in the past couple of weeks, but you have a lot of guys who aren't really football players, or weren't at the start of the season. They're athletes who you're trying to plug into positions and coach them up. And how much have you seen some of those guys like Caden Turner and some of the other dudes who you coaxed out there to help you out? How much have you seen them grow into football players already, and how excited are you to see what they're going to look like come playoff time?
Well, it's awesome. Q's been a great addition, because it's really hard to cover someone with a 6'5" frame. And Isaiah this year too has really come into – I've seen a lot of heart come out of him this season too. I know he's super focused on basketball, but he's been a force to be reckoned with this season. He's been awesome. And then just other position players. We had, everybody knew that coming into the season they had big shoes to fill, but all of our transfers come in, like AJ Hoff, who came over from Bluffton with his dad. That's been huge for us, trying to fill the gaps. O'Reilly and Bulldog are receivers, and then Dylan's also really stepped up in the quarterback role. It's not easy replacing Jace, but he's definitely filled the role to what we needed him to do, and it's been awesome watching him grow as a quarterback and as a leader of the team.
And how about Tucker Tetherball? He's been a huge addition to this group, both defensively and with the ability to defend opponents deep in the punt game, which is absolutely huge. So tell me about what Tucker has meant to this group.
Yeah, Tuck's awesome. I've known him since I was probably 3. Our dads served together up in Connecticut, and I've known him my whole life. And we've been trying our whole life to end up on the same football team, and it finally happened this year. But he's awesome. He's driven. He's motivated. And it's finally awesome just being able to suit up in the same uniform that he's wearing.
That's a great story. I mean, a small world, right? It takes all over the place, and you end up in the same spot here. And I agree with Wes. I mean, you see him as a top-ranked punter, but man, what he's meant to your defense has been incredible. And just being somebody to push Dylan in the preseason and force him to win that job, I think was probably big too. And we saw a little gunslinger in Dylan Clark this week. He's rolling out and making plays, and we saw it against Ben Lippen too. He just seems like he's got that it factor, that he's that guy who wants the ball in his hands in a big spot. Are you starting to see him grow into that leadership role?
I am, for sure. I definitely have seen the jump in maturity from the start of the season to where he's at now, gaining more trust in not only himself but his receivers, because I know he struggled with that a little bit in the start of the season, not wanting to let go of the ball, but now he's been throwing the ball a lot more, and he's been making those hard decisions under pressure, and it's really been working out well for him. He's just developed a confidence in himself, and it's been awesome watching that happen.
And the offensive line is working really hard as well. Tell me about those guys up front who have really dedicated themselves to taking that next step these last few games. How important has the play of the offensive line been to help propel the offense?
Well, it really changed after the Savannah Christian game. That was a giant wake-up call, but having a offensive line that's predominantly seniors is a huge factor, because it's the maturity level of, all right, like, this needs to happen now. Like, we can't wait for a change. Like, we need to change now. And we kind of all just had it. It just hit us all at the same time. It's like, all right, it's go time. Like, we need to make this change now. And the season's here. Like, it needs to happen now.
Life comes at you fast.
It does.
I saw a great video on Twitter yesterday. I meant to retweet it from Lowco, but the Duke women's basketball coach talking about, life never gets easier. You think once I get through this, it'll get easier. It never gets easier. You just have to learn to handle hard better. And certainly, you got the right guys coaching you to teach you how to handle tough. If you made it through the crucible and became a Marine, you can teach somebody something about handling hard. So, what do you think is the upside for this team? You feel like this 3A division is up for grabs? Can you guys make a run at another one?
I do have faith in this team to get it done. I really don't think there's at where we're at now and the confidence I've developed in this team overall. I truly don't believe there's another team in our division that'll stand in the way of us gaining a third straight state championship.
I'm a believer in this squad as well. We've got a bunch of fantastic student sections here in the area, but the cage is something special. Absolutely electric group of fans over there right near the end zone. Tell me about how it feels to play in front of those guys. And that time you blocked the punt right over into that student section. Wasn't that fun, exciting opportunity?
Well, it's awesome because they all come out no matter what. There wasn't as many for that Benliffin game. It was straight downpour, but they still came out. And it's just awesome to know that we have a group of fans that'll support us no matter what the weather is, no matter what the conditions are. And it's just the overall community we have at our school, not just the students, but the parents. Everybody comes out and supports everybody in what they're doing, and it's just a great feeling to have.
Well, you guys are on the road this week at First Baptist, moved up to Thursday night. A team that's been one of the powerhouses, but a little bit down this year. You guys feeling like it's a good matchup for you to keep the win streak going?
I am feeling confident. It was kind of a bummer that it's a Thursday night. It's a little weird, but I do have confidence in us going up there to Charleston and being able to come out there with a win as well.
You gonna go catch a game on Wednesday night? We got a bunch in the area. You gotta go scout somebody.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
How do you guys
get you on Loco Pigskin Live to give us a report on whatever game we're at?
How do you guys approach this kind of situation where you have a game that gets moved up all of a sudden? Tell me about how you kind of look at that and kind of speed up the process of game playing for an opponent as you get ready for a big game on your schedule.
Well, the main thing is just practice schedule overall. Instead of 3 full days of practice and a day of walkthrough, it turns into 2 days of full go practice and then just a walkthrough a day prior to get ready for the game. But we've had a good amount of really good practices in the last few weeks. So I think missing one day isn't going to completely kill us. And I think it's just going to push us to go a little bit harder in the walkthrough on Wednesday as we get ready for the game on Thursday.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to navigate when things are running smoothly and you just got to maintain, if it's going bad and you get a short week, it could go sideways in a hurry because you got stuff you need to work out and you don't have time to do it. But you guys are rolling along pretty good. So I look forward to a good performance on Thursday night up at First Baptist. And we appreciate you taking a little time during your day to chat with us, man. Keep up the good work.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Matt Scarpa. We'll be right back with more here on the LowcoSports Lowdown. All right. Well, so Matt, definitely one of my favorite kids to see when I go out to cover a game. He's always got a big smile on his face. You can't miss him. He's big as a house, just jacked as can be. But, always have a good laugh with him and, seeing him interact with the younger kids and everything, just a gentle giant and a heck of a football player. And I'm sure that he's going to get some opportunities at the next level. I hope for his sake that it comes at a place that he wants to go to football, go play football and go to college, and so that he can be happy, all the way around. But if not, he's had a heck of a high school career. And I told him before we went on camera, if it doesn't work out in football, just go wherever you want to go to school. And on the first day, go talk to the track coach and tell him you want to show him how far you can throw the shot put and discus. And I think you're going to be just fine, buddy.
Yeah. He's going to make an impact somewhere, either maybe on the track field or on the football field, because he is a built athlete, a driven athlete, and his smile is contagious out there in the football field. I just love watching him play, his effort out there competing. And this is a special Hilton Head Christian Academy team, and off to a tough start. I mean, obviously he played a really very good team in Savannah Christian and lost to a Wilson Hall team that he said he knows this team could beat this Wilson Hall squad. And I think if they play again, like he said, it's going to go the other way. I think it's going to be a different story. So I love this HHCA team. A chip on their shoulder, kind of in a way, even though they've won 2 straight titles after that tough start. They've really turned it on. Ben Lippen was an absolute huge win that really helped them turn the corner. They took care of business against Northwood, and then what a victory on the road at BA. And Matthew Scarpa, I just love the way he plays, this intensity on the line. And man, just awesome to see him block that punt into the cage, the student section in that Ben Lippen game. And just to see his celebration and excitement out there is just so fun to watch. And he certainly deserves the opportunity to play at the next level. And like we said for Cole Narzo, I mean, I'd love to see him play at a place that he loves and where he wants to go to school, because it's, I believe JJ Hayes said it a couple months or years ago. He said, when you decide to go to a school, it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 20-year decision, because it impacts what you might want to do after you finish up school and what you want to do as a career. So it's going to be a decision where I'm sure he'll weigh a couple different options, but it's one that he should want to have fun at, and one to help better his career going forward. And just a great young man. I wish him all the best going forward. And I think the Southern Christian Academy team is absolutely real contenders here for 3A state title.
Yeah, and I think he's the kind of guy who could probably walk on just about anywhere he goes, because they're going to take a look at you and go, yeah, even if he doesn't pan out, like there's something. He's going to be a good practice player. He's going to be a good scout team guy. He's going to be the kind of guy that's going to make his teammates better, and you want to have him around your program. He's going to be an asset, period, plain and simple. So I think there's going to be opportunities for him if he wants them, if they're in the place where he wants to have them, to keep doing it. And if not, he's going to be really good at whatever he does. Because, I mean, gosh, when you decide I'm going to see how much I can bench, and you get it up close to 400 pounds, you've got some work ethic and dedication in you that not everybody possesses. So you can already see that in him already, and he's going to be successful in whatever he does. So, well, Wes, let's bring this thing in for a landing and names our teams of the week. And I feel like I've been in a hurricane already with one on the way. So I'm kind of spinning, but I'm interested to see which way you go with your team of the week here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the John Paul II volleyball team that has been absolutely crushing it here in 2022. And then speaking of 22, they've already won 22 matches. That's incredible. They just swept Hilton Head Prep in 3 sets. They're 22-4-1 to start the season. I just love the effort and the talent on display from those girls. Emma Saul's been a really quality leader of this team and defense specialist. That's such an important position in volleyball. You got Emily O'Sullivan, quality senior hitter. Casey Graves having a big year. And then you have freshmen like Lily Termini making some impacts. So I'm really excited about this JP2 team. And I can't wait to see them play Hilton Head Christian Academy. They're scheduled to play in Ridgeland on Thursday, but of course that's up in the air due to Hurricane Ian. But wow, what a battle it's going to be in Class 3A and in volleyball. We've got some quality squads in the Lowco this year, but JP2 takes Team of the Week honors here this week.
Excellent choice. Yeah, we have not given them enough love for sure. They're winning a whole bunch of games. I mean, it's unreal just how many they're playing. They are really racking up the wins, and they've beaten some quality teams. So I'm really happy for Louise Sanders. She also took on the AD role this year, so that's a lot to manage, being a head coach in the fall, and she's out there tweeting all the results from the football games, all the scoring plays. So she's doing a terrific job over there, not only with the athletic program, but with that volleyball program for sure. And they've got some real talent. So shout out to her. I don't know who my team of the week is. What's going on? Bluffton, Hilton Head.
Hilton Head girls tennis is always a solid bet.
Yeah, that's an easy one. I can just go there.
Yeah.
Well, Wes, I know we already talked about him a good bit, but I can't find anybody who tops Hilton Head girls tennis this week. I mean, that win over Lucy Beckham is monumental in terms of the confidence and trying to get people to buy into the idea that we're good enough to win a state championship. Well, you just beat the defending state champ. So if you didn't believe it before, you better believe it now. And they kept it rolling with a win over a good Heritage Academy team on Monday, 5-1. Heritage, not known for their athletics, but they've got kids who go there for the sole purpose to train for tennis. So they've definitely got some players over there. Nice win for Hilton Head to tune up, and they're going to have another matchup with Lucy Beckham on the road that will definitely be tough, and they're going to have. But that 5-1 win matters, right? Because usually the tiebreaker is total matches won or courts won.
Right.
So if they drop a 4-3 decision, they're still sitting pretty to be the number 1 seed. So, that's a huge win for them. Emily Rucknow, what more can we say about her? Just a phenomenal young woman. I mean, we were impressed when we interviewed her as a freshman when this podcast was in its infancy. And now, you know, you look at the young woman she's grown into and the tennis player that she has grown into, winning, you know, professional matches this summer. It's pretty incredible to see her evolution and to see her leading this team now to try to get back to the mountaintop in her senior
That's
year.
kind of cool. I mean, that's one of the first players I've been able to see go from her freshman to senior year here when I've been at LowcoSports, which is awesome to see her growth and development and her maturity as a tennis player. And man, she has been growing by leaps and bounds and one of the best players in the state. And I'm excited to see her go against Charney again in the weeks to come. And I think she's hungry for not only a team state title, but also a state singles title. I think she could do both this year. What a fantastic job this entire team has done. Really dug deep to take this match. And Haley Poplin, K.S. Kersey, Alyssa Rucknow, and then Courtney Costa with just an incredible victory and a match which thought was getting away from her real quickly after she dropped a couple points and her opponent forced a tiebreaker, but she was able to stay strong, get it done, and avoid that third set. So what a gutsy win for Courtney Costa and this entire Hilton Head Seahawks squad. And I just love the energy about how they all cheer for each other and root each other on. They say, go Seahawks before they start their point. And I just love the team camaraderie and the effort. It's something special in girls tennis. And I'm so excited to see them continue watching them compete in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know you have to be proud. Alma mater, man. You're an alum, so anytime one of those teams is you know, representing that well, you definitely have to feel the pride. So, well, thanks a lot to everyone who made this one possible. Thanks, Wes, for your insight and analysis. Thanks very much to Matthew Scarpa for making time during his busy school day to sit with us, and thanks, of course, to our sponsors who make it all possible. And most of all, thanks to you for listening or watching. That's going to do it for this episode of the LowcoSports Lowdown. Until next time, go Lowco.